It feels like it's been ages, but it's finally time for GT3, GT4 multi-class racing action to make its long-awaited return here on Turn 200. It's the American Sim Racing League presenting their fourth season of sports car action. The ASRL Sports Car Championship season opener from Watkins, Glen is around the turn when we return here on Turn 200.
A blind night that uses echolocation. Viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants. Where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
An empty plastic bottle would give you 50 cents. A soda can, 60 cents. A used food container, 80. Wondering why I know this? Because that's my job. I am a trash picker at my school.
Harry, the trash prince is on a roll today. And how was your trashy affair with Bella coming? She lets you kiss her with that stink?
Their words don't bother me. They don't know why I do what I do. And my secret. I edge close to my class when I hear Bella and her friend talking.
You can't be serious, Bella. You want me to break up with him for you?
I would do it myself if his poverty didn't give me the creeps.
You are unbelievable.
I come face to face with Bella's friend. She knew I heard the conversation and couldn't meet my eyes. She hands me the new phone I bought for Bella and walks away. I saved for months to buy her this phone. I walk down the empty corridor with a heavy heart, pick the phone out of the box, slip my SIM in, and switch it on. When... Harry Parker, you have passed the poverty test? You are now the heir to Parker family's billions worth of assets?
If Harry is a billionaire, why does he work as a trash picker? What is his big secret? Why did he not reveal his billionaire status to Bella? To know more, listen to the audio series Destiny Reloaded, only on Pocket FM.
Presentation. Man, it's great to be back here on Turn 200 on Wednesday nights with the ASRL Sports Car Championship. It's their fourth season of sports car competition. It's our second here together with this partnership on Turn 200, and it feels so good. Get ready for 10 weeks, 20 races of GT3, GT4 multi-class racing. It's on the way here. It all kicks off tonight with the ASRL GT Clash at the Glen. Tommy Cook, Matt Williamson, back with you here on Wednesday nights with the sports cars. Matt, it's the Glen. It's the boot of the Glen as well. Things are going to be crazy here tonight for a number of reasons.
Yeah, it's good to be back, but you are right. It's the first week back here with the ASRL Sports Car Championship, and that means usually there are going to be a lot of drivers. But you add on top of that the fact that we are at Watkins Glen, one of the most used road courses on iRacing, and it just brings everybody out in droves that wasn't already coming. So I think we are in for an exciting night of racing, and it is going to be one of the cornerstone races of the season.
Absolutely. 3.45 miles, 12 turns, the Watkins Glen boot layout. It's part of, I guess, Watkins Glen Week here on Turn 200. 2 of the 3 events that we've got scheduled for you this week are from the boot layout of Watkins Glen, with the Mission Art Challenge on Sunday afternoon being the round out of that. This is a wild schedule here. It's on the bottom ticker. You'll see it scrolling occasionally through the night. 10 weeks of racing. Just a crazy schedule. I know Matt is particularly excited about one track that he placed on the schedule. Yeah, what else sticks out to you here on the schedule other than maybe just Indy Bike? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, Indy Bike just has a very special place in my heart. So, I mean, it is that's going to be a fantastic one. I mean, obviously, I think you got to go to, for us, Road America is one of our favorites as well, being from the Midwest. But, I mean, we have Knock Hill on here, which is just going to be, that's just going to be absolutely wild. And then we have Mount Panorama on the schedule this season as well. I mean, that is just going to be an absolute beast for the drivers. So we have so many good things coming here, and can't wait to get to them.
Yeah, we've got some learning to do here the next couple of weeks. Some folks might be a little bit more familiar with Imola in week number 3, but you and I doubt, have ever laid eyes on Oschersleben unless I'm wrong. So we've got a whole new venue to learn for next week, but that's next week. Tonight we've got 37 drivers, and pretty evenly split here among the 2 classes, getting ready to go here at the boot layout of Watkins Glen. We are back, the ASRL Sports Car Championship, the American Sim Racing League, celebrating 25 years of sim racing excellence, and they're about to put it on display here tonight. 20-minute sprint race is about to get underway, and the starting grid looks like this. Your 2-time and defending GT3 champion, Brody Gunter, with the quick time of a 1:44.503. One of 9 drivers to make their first career start with the ASRL Sports Car Championship tonight. James Lehman won on this very layout here in an LMP2 last time we were here on Turn 200. He starts on the outside of the front row. Kevin Bonomi, 2 times a race winner in GT3 competition last season. He starts in 3rd, next to Kevin Burrows, who we saw a lot towards the end of the first season here on Turn 200 of the ASRL. Joshua Hagee, a multi-time winner last season as well. Johnny Alford on the outside of row number 3. Mike Pepper and Jeff Oakes there on row number 4. It's Nate Seeker and Jarrell Williams, the GT4 champion, has swapped to GT3 competition this season. He starts in 10th. JJ Wang also making the switch. He's a multi-time GT4 winner last season in the GT3s now in 11th. Matt Schlosser in 12th. Brian Deason, Jeff Mathis is here. He starts in 14th. Andy Poliski is back. He is in 15th. Joshua Rutherford in P16. Steve Vroman is back as well. He's in 17th next to Dave Payton in P18. We go to the GT4s. Jonathan Webb, another newcomer. He starts in 19th. Jordan Probst to his outside in 20th. And that is row number 1 for the GT4s. Rhett Nichols and Johnny Hamby both making their first starts here in ASRL competition, but those should be no strangers, or not strange names anyway, to those of you who keep up with other leagues here on Turn 200. Indica Scarlet is back, starting in 23rd. Renee Garcia on the outside of that row. Dave Seats, the first ever champion in the ASRL Sports Car Championship, is back in action. He starts in 25th. Corey Rutherford to his outside. Daryl Klotz, Kenny Step, Rick Thompson. Ryan Dye is here making his first start. Nate Morris, Cole Maxwell making his first start as well. Hunter Engrave is running the GT4s this season. He is deep in the field. A GT3, Matt Short, all the way in the back of the field here. Alex Howland, Dan Miglin, and Fred Thompson. This is a stacked field. This is a who's who of pretty much anybody that's ever run a race on Turn 200, just about. A lot of familiar names all throughout the field here tonight. And Watkins Glen sure to deliver.
Yeah, this is gonna be a special one, I think, for not only us but any of the fans here on Turn 200 that tune into some of our other races as well. I'm not sure I necessarily realized what was going to take place here, but I mean, this is almost like an all-star race in GT3 and GT4 competition for pretty much anybody that runs races on Turn 200. So this could end up being pretty darn spectacular.
What do we got for track conditions and the lay of the land here for a 20-minute sprint race?
Looking at track conditions, 97 degrees on the track temperature, clear skies here today. It is 10 miles an hour for wind. So that could come into a factor into the race here today. Drivers, they get 2 sets of tires. Fuel capacity is at 45%. They will be able to make it all the way in the dash race or the first race, and then in the longer race they will have to make a pit stop. First race is 20 minutes, by the way. Second race will be 40 minutes long. No fast repairs for either of them. And there is a disqualification and penalty incident point limit. 14X will get you a drive-through penalty, and a 19X will disqualify you from the race in its entirety.
We got the good word from on high from Jeff Mathis before the race started here, that the wind direction and speed, the wind direction blows straight up the S's. So these guys are going to be hauling the mail into the bus stop here, going way faster than they normally would. For practice, I think it was 7 or 8 miles an hour. It's pretty consistently in double digits here. So these guys are going to be zipping into the bus stop here. 20 minutes for the sprint. Hello to everybody. Chat is already popping off. Don Golden was here bright and early. Sorry, I put the wrong time down. We'll get it right for next week. Corey Rutherford, of course, Good Leave Archives hanging out with us. AP Lewis, I'm doing pretty good and about to be doing a lot better. And best of luck to Mullet Music Productions, who provided the wonderful theme song. Man, Wednesday nights are just great theme music all around here, courtesy of Mullet Music Productions and Joshua Rutherford. So thank you to everybody that's hanging out with us. It's about time to go racing here. What do you say, folks? A new season of multi-class sports car racing. The pace car is off. Gunter and Lehman on the front row, and the green flag is out. We're racing at the Glen.
Well, this could be a treacherous first corner. 3 wide in some places, but everybody seems to get through.
3 wide. At the back of the GT3s, the front of the GT4s. It's going to get sorted out. Gunter with the lead for the GT3s. Jonathan Webb has the top spot from the pole for the GT4s.
Oh, huge wreck in the back.
Oh,
out
boy.
The S's.
Here we go.
Oh, this could bring out a caution.
That is a track blocker, and the caution is going to be manually thrown here. We're not even going to wait for iRacing. That was a lot of folks there. Brian Deese, Rene Garcia, Nate Siefker, JJ Wang, Rick Thompson, Dave Seitz. Multiple people with meatball flags, not just involved in the accident, but they are done. Jeff Mathis as well.
Yeah, one of those meatballs looks to be Brian Deese. I mean, half of that car is completely torn off. I mean, we have used the term parking lot on Turn 200 before. I don't think there has not been any situation that would be described as a parking lot better than that one right there. I mean, that looked like a literal parking lot.
Well, we're going to have to take a lap here to get everybody behind the pace car, but I think they're going to hurry it up once we get there. So in the meantime, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the replay of whatever started that, because I have no idea where it started.
Yeah, I was trying to take a wide shot of everybody, and it happened kind of off towards the back a little bit, so we'll try and find it. I have a lot to sift through here, so...
yes, you do.
Please excuse me if this takes just a minute. Yeah, and it's already happened there, so we'll just go ahead and manually run it back here. Also going to be a little difficult to get up to where, with the folks that it actually happened with. Run it here. Oh, and you see there's a car sliding sideways right there. And, of course, new liveries as well is going to make it a little difficult for us to figure out who is who early on in the season here. I see a number 61, and that is J.J. Wang.
That'd
of
be
course,
JJ, yep.
the PMR extraordinaire on Sundays. As he's coming through the S's, he's on the inside of the left-hander, is going to end up being on the outside of the right-hander, is actually able to clear for a moment. And as he gets into this right-hander, the back of that car just went straight around. So he's going to go for the ride, and then he is across the middle of the racetrack, just about the worst spot you can be. You see the guardrails on both sides. There's nowhere for anybody to escape the action except for pretty much on the racing surface. And there are a lot of drivers that are going to pile in here. See the 45, the 54. And just about anybody behind him. JJ took a couple of really big shots after his initial contact as well.
And I do want to clear something up because I think I typed it into the script wrong. These drivers do have one fast repair per race. I'm pretty sure I typed in 0. That is not correct. So...
Okay.
New life breathed into quite a few of the drivers here after that accident. Brian Deese, Nate Siefker, Jeff Mathis, Steve Roman, J.J. Wang, Dave Seats, all with meatball flags. And they are all either in the process of being cleared or going to be cleared here shortly.
I want to go back to some of the folks that were kind of in the back of this, hopefully, and maybe get a look at what they were looking at when they came up on the scene. We're going to go ahead and go to Alex Howland and go inside the car, and we'll just go full speed. And Alex is pretty far back in the pack. I mean, one of the last few cars was kind of letting everybody get okay, I'm not going to get a great look at it that way. Let's try it with Corey. This is Corey Rutherford coming on the scene. And you see smoke up ahead. And everybody just trying to get it locked down, People coming together. 2 or 3 cars turn completely backwards. That's not the sight you want to see on your first trip around in the first race of the season.
Certainly not. Well, unfortunately, that's going to cut a significant swath of time here out of this 20-minute sprint. Should point out as well, it's a sprint and a feature, but they both pay an equal amount of points. They're just differently timed races, but they pay an equal amount of points at the end of it. So, urgency high. You're not just giving up half points, you're giving up full points here if you were involved in that accident.
Yeah, that's. I kind of hesitated earlier to call it a sprint race because that kind of infers that it's minimal points paying, but it is indeed full points paying. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of drivers at a bit of a disadvantage here from where they really wanted to be. One of the most notable, I think, might be Jarrell Williams, who, of course, finished very well in the GT4 class last season, has moved up to the GT3s, and he is buried behind a couple of GT4 drivers. For anybody, when we put up the ticker, you will notice that some names, the background is black or kind of a grayish color. The other ones are blue. The black or gray color is going to be GT3 drivers, and the blue color is the GT4 class. So keep that in mind while you're tuning in here tonight.
And nice work to you for that touch there as well. Yeah, especially with some people joining last minute here today. A bit of a scramble to get things done in time, but always appreciated. This field is pretty jumbled up here. The top 10 GT3s are all together, but then Jonathan Webb and Jordan Probst, the top 2 in the GT4 class, are next in line in 11th and 12th. And then from there on, it's pretty mixed up. So this will be a very interesting, our first restart here with the ASRL Sports Car Championship as, yeah, there were no cautions last season.
There's a first time for everything.
Yes, there is.
What this is going to do, though, this is really going to ratchet up the intensity. I mean, what we thought was going to be 20 minutes is basically going to be a 12-minute sprint race now. So the folks that feel like they can make up positions quickly, they are going to be even more on the loud pedal to make up positions as fast as possible with much less time. Their time nearly cut in half here from what they thought it would be.
Shout out to Nick Batista hanging out in the chat with us. GT4 standout from last season, cheering on 420 Motorsports here today. Pace speed right now, 70 miles an hour, but we're about to turn the wick right back up. Gunter and Lehman back on the front row here, and we'll try it again. Back on our way, an 11.5-minute dash now to the finish. Good lead for Gunter here early, 3 wide. Further back, GT3's trying to split slower traffic, slower cars. Back to the S as we go.
Pretty jumbled up, a little bit farther back in the pack. Oh, James Lehman tried to look to the inside of Gunter there. That was for the lead, the overall lead and the GT3 class lead. And the GT4's Jordan Probst has gotten around Jonathan Webb on the restart. Whoa, and then a little bit of contact there. I think that was with Dave Payton, a GT3 driver. Also see Hunter Engrave trying to make up some positions. Meanwhile, Matthew Short in the GT3 is trying to get around GT4 traffic. Engrave battling in the top 5 of the GT4 class.
Nobody really in the top 10 here for the GT3s. Duking it out as of now. Probst and Webb pretty close together for the lead for the GT4s. Klotz, Hamby, and Engrave, like you mentioned, pretty much nose to tail here as we're moving towards the back half of the final couple of turns. Oh,
whoa,
big contact there.
Yeah, major contact, and you see the lights start flashing.
That was Siefker making contact with, I think, Daryl Klotz. I'm not 100% sure. It actually might have been Hunter Engrave.
Siefker
not Klotz.
Trying to work his way through the traffic of the other class there. Siefker currently scored 16th overall, 14th in class.
Oh, problems. Joshua Heggie, I think, has gone off in the bus stop, and he has. He was running 6th in the GT3s. He's now outside of the top 10 and continuing to drop spots here as he works his way back onto the track.
Jeff Oaks, Andy Poliski starting to do battle. They just made their way into the boot section of the course. Poliski currently sits in 7th. Oaks, Joshua Rutherford, and Darrell Williams are the 3 drivers behind that number 1 machine on the livery, scored as the number 32.
Great battle here for the GT4 lead. GT3 traffic has mixed up Probst and Webb. Webb continually trying to make moves here to get around Jordan for the top spot. Hasn't happened yet, but Mathis and Vroman really shuffled these two up.
And you see further back, Engrave, Hamby, and Klotz are all kind of together here. Oh, and problem? No, I take it back. That was just a driver that almost disconnected. Started dropping like a rock through the field, but came back. That was James Lehman, so that might be something to keep an eye on here.
Well, Brody Gunter's had some blinks up front here as well. Good battle here. I believe Poliski and Oaks are side by side through the S's and headed to the bus stop. That'll be for 7th.
And they have some company with them as well.
Yes, indeed. Quite a bit of it.
Jeff Oaks able to make the move up the inside in the bus stop.
Johnny Alford trying to track down Kevin Burrows. That'd be for 4th overall. Probst and Webb continuing to still lead the GT4s. Hunter Engrave in 3rd. Daryl Klotz and Johnny Hamby. That is the GT4 class top 5. Indica Scarlet in P6.
Whoa, there's a
Brian
car around.
Deese.
That's Brian Deese. Trying to find a
Deese
safe
is-
place to turn around.
Oh, and Deese, I think, got hit. Not sure where, but he has lost the tail of that car. Might have been Dan Miglin. I heard Miglin shouting over the radio to hold the brake or something along those lines. So that will take Deese out of the running here for the sprint race. 6.5 minutes left to go. Comfortable lead here for Brody Gunter up front, nearly 2 seconds. Kevin Bonomi is trying to track down James Lehman, and he'll bring Kevin Burrows with him. So Lehman slipping back a bit into the Hornets' nest here. They're pretty tight from 3rd on back.
Oh, and there's problems for GT4 class leader Jordan
That's
Probst.
Probst's going to slip back to 6th in class. Jonathan Webb picks up the lead. Hunter Engrave now in 2nd, and a distant 2nd at that.
Probst did have some pressure from behind Webb. Those two started side by side on the restart. Probst was able to get out in front, and then they got kind of separated with the GT3 traffic coming through. And then Webb had gotten back to Jordan Probst and put the pressure on, and Probst had a little bit of a bobble there, trying to now work their way back up through. Indica Scarlet is next in line with Johnny Hamby in front of them.
Showing Matthew Short is just towed back to the pits. He was running 12th overall.
Here's a good battle for 8th place. Terrell Williams, Andy Poliski, and Joshua Rutherford all in the fight here.
Terrell Williams caught a piece of that opening lap accident there, so this is a good rally thus far. Restarted 14th, behind some GT4 traffic. Jarrell had that streak of, I believe it was 6 consecutive second-place finishes before he finally broke through and got that win last season. En route to his championship, ended up winning 3 additional times after that. So he had a really, really good season last year in the GT4s. He and Alex Hallen, the teammates from Black Ice Racing, have swapped it. Jarrell inside the top 10. Hunter Engrave tracking down Jonathan Webb. That gap was over 2 seconds. Now it is just barely over 1 second. So we'll have a battle here for the GT4 win in the closing minutes. If Hunter Engrave has anything to say about it.
Yeah, no surprise. Engrave started deep in the field there in the GT4 class and has made up the most positions of anybody on the racetrack, up 13 spots. To get to 18th overall, 2nd in the class, as you mentioned. And looking for 1st.
Speaking of 2nd in class, James Lehman right now has continued to pull away from Kevin Bonomi, but Bonomi has Burrows and Johnny Alford now closing up on him. So that'd be for the final spot on the podium here.
Watch this battle as we continue to watch the relative for that GT4 class lead. You might have to help me out because my timing and scoring is going absolutely bananas right now.
There's people towing back to the pits. It's shaking it all up. But Hunter Engrave, I think, is within a couple of car lengths here of Jonathan Webb for the race lead, or rather for the GT4 class lead. So he has closed that gap very quickly.
Burrows is caught right up to the back of Bonomi here as well, going past start-finish.
Brady Gunter's lead not in question. Nearly 3 seconds over James Lehman. That should be all done and dusted unless something catastrophic happens. Not out of the question. Hunter Engrave within striking distance here for the GT4 lead.
Here they are through the final corner.
Really searching around.
Yeah, you see Engrave has been up and down the racetrack. And something that's very important here in the GT4 class, especially, is momentum. You got to keep the momentum up, because if you make a mistake and lose it, it takes a little while for it to kind of get revved back up, especially here in the GT4 class. So that is a big part of the racing in this class. Look at there, move to the outside for Engrave. Was not able to pull alongside. That is a tricky move to begin with.
Should be on the final lap here. Inside of 1:45. Oh, and for second, James Lehman has had a problem. And here goes Kevin Bonomi and Kevin Burrows through. So Lehman drops to fourth, Bonomi to second.
I don't know if Lehman got tight or loose there in the final corner, but in that final corner, it looked like Lehman had a problem.
Well, that gap had been closing up before that as well.
In this fight between Burrows and Lehman has gotten pretty tight. Lehman nearly pushing Burrows up to Bonomi. Whoa! Oh no! Big contact!
Oh boy.
Lehman and Burrows go for a spin.
Racing hard, and it's going to cost them here in the bus stop. They each lose a couple of positions. Mike Pepper going to take advantage. So will Jeffrey Oakes. And all this well behind Brody Gunter, who was making his way out of the boot.
One more lap here for the GT4 leaders as well. Jonathan Webb still leads it over Hunter Engrave, but Engrave has been very close on many occasions. Lehman was able to get going, but lost a few spots down to 7th. Burrows able to rebound a little bit better. Sits in 5th right now with Oakes in between the two.
And that has pretty well broken that pack up. Mike Pepper is trying to track down Johnny Alford for a podium, but it may not happen here. As already back to winning form, the two-time series champion Brody Gunter with 5 wins last season. He's already got checkered flag number 1 here in the dash at Watkins Glen. Racing hard for positions all throughout the GT3 class, but we'll look for the GT4 win as Hunter Engrave thought he was going to feed a bumper there to Jonathan Webb. As they navigate the boot.
Engrave might look to the inside here. Kind of went for it. Maybe just trying to scare Webb, but we saw him break loose. And that's losing the momentum that we talked about. That might be the end of it for Engrave here in the dash race.
Tough exit here out of the boots. Webb handles it nicely. Got plenty of separation back to Hunter Engrave. And in his first outing here with the ASRL Sports Car Championship, it's going to be Jonathan Webb to take the dash victory in the season opener. Engrave, what a drive. He'll finish P2. Johnny Hamby will round out that podium. Podium finishers for the GT3 class were Kevin Bonomi and Johnny Alford. The bagman picks up the bronze in the GT3s. Multiple drivers here still going to cross the stripe after what was a chaotic opening race of the season. We're going to use this opportunity to step aside and thank those who have supported the ASRL Sports Car Championship and who helped pay the bills here on Turn 200. We'll talk to your winners of each class when we return here to coverage of the ASRL Sports Car Championship on Turn 200 from Watkins, Glen.
A blind night that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by competitors, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Road night I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
An empty plastic bottle would give you 50 cents. A soda can, 60 cents. A used food container, 80. Wondering why I know this? Because that's my job. I am a trash picker at my school.
Harry, the trash prince is on a roll today. And how is your trashy affair with Bella coming? She lets you kiss her with that stink?
Their words don't bother me. They don't know why I do what I do. And my secret. I edge close to my class when I hear Bella and her friend talking.
You can't be serious, Bella. You want me to break up with him for you?
I would do it myself if his poverty didn't give me the creeps.
You are unbelievable.
I come face to face with Bella's friend. She knew I heard the conversation and couldn't meet my eyes. She hands me the new phone I bought for Bella and walks away. I saved for months to buy her this phone. I walk down the empty corridor with a heavy heart, pick the phone out of the box, slip my SIM in, and switch it on. When... Harry Parker, you have passed the poverty test? You are now the heir to Parker family's billions worth of assets?
If Harry is a billionaire, why does he work as a trash picker? What is his big secret? Why did he not reveal his billionaire status to Bella? To know more, listen to the audio series Destiny Reloaded, only on Pocket FM.
Turn 200's coverage of the ASRL Sports Car Championship season opener from Watkins, Glen is presented by Eminent Signs and Graphics, Mullet Music Productions, and CJR Graphics. Back here to live coverage of the ASRL Sports Car Championship on Turn 200 from Watkins Glen. The GT clash at the Glen. We saw a lot of clashing, but we did see a couple of winners as well. Bertie Gunter is right back to the form we expect him to be in here on Wednesday nights. Welcome back to Victory Lane, partner. Congrats.
Thank you, guys. It's good to be back. I mean, I've definitely missed these cars. I forgot how much fun they are to drive, and I've also definitely missed being pulled into the booth with you guys because I can't remember the last time I have been.
Well, it seems like you've been robbed of more than you've won of late, which is, I think it speaks a lot to you as a driver that you're able to continue winning after some of the adversity that we've seen, particularly here on Wednesday nights in the past few weeks. But all that behind us, you were able to shake off the rust pretty quickly here with a fairly dominant performance in just really a 12-minute race after the caution.
Yes, so definitely that first wreck has really threw a loop in it. We haven't done a restart in this league, I think, since Homestead at GT4s, which was a long time ago. But definitely able to get back in with it pretty quickly. I felt like really, and like I said, enjoying it a lot. Luckily, we didn't get some GT4 traffic in this in this first race, but I imagine it's definitely going to change in the second one.
What makes you think that? I think you're going to be starting, 19th or 20th here for this race with the inverts? I mean, we know you can do it, but what does it take to do it here?
A lot of luck. I sadly don't have. I don't think I've had a first race without getting spun, wrecked, having to pit. So expect that probably out of me in the second race. Even the recruitment race last week, I had to spin out lap 1. I had to come all the way back to the field. But yeah, it definitely takes a lot of luck. I'd say patience and just it's an interesting thing because every car, pretty 9 times out of 10, every car has a guy that's faster than him behind him.
Well, you're going to be the fast car behind a lot of drivers here. So best of luck to you, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again at the end of this one.
All right, thank you guys. Hope so.
And do want to say hello. It was a very late addition here to the lineup, but thank you to Rene Garcia for coming on board with Eminent Signs and Graphics. Their expertise extends to fabricating signs in-house, offering a wide range of options, including channel letters, reverse lit letters, pylon signs, cabinet signs, and monument signs. Be sure to hit up Rene Garcia for your signage needs with Eminent Signs or Eminent Graphics in Signs. So thank you very much for them for coming on board. Our winner for the GT4 is not in the Discord right now, Jonathan Webb. Hopefully he'll pile in if he happens to finish top 2 in the feature race a little bit later on. But speaking of said feature race, we got about 4 minutes until that kicks off here. Matt, we mentioned it. It is a full field invert, although the GT3s will pull up in front of the GT4s for that grid. So that is one less thing to worry about. But if you're somebody like Bertie Gunter or our podium finishers, either of the Kevins, you got a lot of cars to pass here to try and double up on podiums tonight.
Yeah, you certainly do. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast, just how many drivers we have in the field. A combination of the league starting again this week, people just excited about ASRL in general, but also a track that, everybody knows pretty darn well, feels like they may have a shot to do well at. But yeah, I mean, the drivers that finished in the podium positions for both classes are going to have a lot of traffic to move through. And I think, typically, I think last season, even in the GT4 class, we typically had around 10, 11 cars, something like that. I think we have like 16, 17, maybe even 18, somewhere around there. I mean, that's a lot of cars to get around. And I think you're just going to have to be patient. I mean, we saw, obviously, the start of the sprint race was a little chaotic, and even if there's no big pileup and crash, I mean, you just got to be careful with side-by-side and even three-wide racing there in the first few turns. So I think patience is key for the first couple laps, and then you can turn it on.
The man himself, Josh Maxwell, hanging out in the chat, taking a little smoke break. Yes, relax here. Cut loose. You got another 2 minutes to do that before it's all hell breaking loose once again here at the Glen. ICR hanging out with us. Happy birthday to Jan Van Leer, by the way. Happy birthday to the man himself, JVL. 29, again, is the word on the street. And James Lehman hanging out with us as well, said the crash hurt the wrist, and that's definitely not what you want. Not only for tonight, because he looked awfully fast there in the dash race, but also for tomorrow night. James on a bit of a hot streak right now in our Thursday night series, the Maximum Velocity CNC Home Designs Truck Series. James going to be going for a second win on the season at Texas tomorrow night. That is the new Texas, which for the NASCAR boys in real life does not race very well, but I'm particularly fond of it here on the sim. I think it's an interesting challenge and a fun one at that. So and these truck drivers, no matter where they're driving or what they're driving, they always put on a show. So can't miss TV tomorrow night here with the Maximum Velocity CNC Home Designs Truck Series from Texas. And while we're on the plug train, we might as well get the Sunday afternoon series in. Join us for the Top Split Strength of Field broadcast for the Mission R Challenge from Watkins Glen Boot. How fitting. That'll be Sunday at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to be here for that. Next week, we'll be at Arena Oschersleben. I believe that's how you say that. Anyway, it's the first time that it'll ever be on the channel. and I have definitely never even looked at the track map for it, at least not knowingly. So we got a lot of studying to do between now and next week, but we're excited for it. This ASRL schedule, you see it on the bottom scroll there. It is particularly interesting this season. The 20 races across 10 weeks. It's going to be a great time. We're glad you're along for the ride here. I see Ryan Dye in the infield care center, but I don't know how we haven't crashed yet. We're on the warm-up. Well, if he would have done that about 2 minutes ago, I would have pulled him up here. But unfortunately, time is up. It's about time to go feature race into here from Watkins Glen for the first time here this season. And we'll start with the inverted grid with the GT3s. It'll be Brian Deese, who was running very well but got caught up in an accident there. He will start the field from the pole position. Matt Short, I believe, is gone, but we'll pretend like he's on the front row here. JJ Wang and Steve Roman then will be on row number 2. Dave Payton and Jeff Mathis on the third row. Andy Poliski and Matt Schlosser on row 4. Joshua Heggie might be the one to watch here from the inside of row number 5 with Nate Siefker, who was also making some crazy moves there on the back foot. He will be starting to his outside, rounding out your top 10 starters. Joshua Rutherford and Jarrell Williams on row 6. James Lehman and Jeff Oakes on row 7. Kevin Burrows, Mike Pepper on row number 8. Then it's Johnny Alford and Kevin Bonomi on row number 9. Before you get back to Brody Gunter, all by himself there on the inside of row number 10. And the GT4s are next. Dave Seats, the Season 1 champ, will be leading the field to green. Fred Thompson will line up to his outside. Jordan Probst is going to start in third after, leading quite a few of the laps there, so that may not be what the field wants to see heading into the feature race here. Ryan Dye will line up to his outside. Nate Morris and Cole Maxwell in the third row. Corey Rutherford and Ken Estep on the next row. Rick Thompson and Dan Miglin. Daryl Klotz, Alex Howland, Renee Garcia, Rhett Nichols, Indica Scarlett, and Johnny Hamby, Hunter Ingrave, and Jonathan Webb. And that is the starting lineup here for the GT3s and the GT4s. Yes, a little bit longer here for this race, but what else do we have to keep in mind here for the feature?
Yeah, we're going to have to see pit stops. That's the number one thing that we're going to keep our eye on. With the fuel capacity that we have, most of the drivers, if you really want to, can make it most of the way through this race. We're expecting maybe 21, 22 laps here. And the drivers can make it, 16, 17, maybe even 18 laps on fuel. So they do have some room to play with, when it comes to strategy. But they will have to make a pit stop. The other thing that we have to keep in mind here is the penalty limits are going to come more into play with the longer race. 14X is going to be a drive-through penalty. A 19X will get you a disqualification from the race. So that's going to be something for the drivers to keep in mind here, especially some of them like to cut that bus stop a little bit. Maybe pick up a 1X here and there along with a couple incidents, bigger incidents. They could easily reach those penalty markers, so got to be careful.
How can I forget when I was talking about the tracks that I'm looking forward to this season? How can I forget Suzuka? Suzuka is a personal favorite of mine. I'm really excited to get there with the sports cars. Oh boy, partner. It's going to happen again here. With the pit stops, the thing that I would keep in mind, I think you have just enough time with a 45% fuel capacity to put on a set of tires. Not a full set, just one side, so pick your poison. The calm before the storm once again. Goodleaf says they can tell it's going to be amazing, and it already is, isn't it?
Yeah, everybody kind of holding their breath on this one after we saw the initial start of the dash race. So I think the drivers wanting to avoid that sort of a situation, probably at all costs here.
On top of the 9 new drivers that we have to the series making their first start tonight, the Ford GT is also returning, but it'll be on turn 200 for the first time tonight. It swapped out with the McLaren. So some Ford drivers in the field, looking to bring it to the promised land. But Brian Deese up at the front of this field. And the 40-minute feature is underway. And that is Matt Short. He is here. And he is challenging for the lead.
Wow, we are fanning out 3, maybe even 4 wide at times through the beginning of the field.
3 wide through the S's. Probably not going to work.
Whoa.
Multiple contacts there.
Definitely close calls.
The GT4 lead, Dave Seats holding off Jordan Probst right now. Nate Morris is in third. Ryan Dye, Corey Rutherford, the top 5 there. Matthew Short from the outside pole with the early advantage out of the bus stop for the overall lead. Here's a challenge for, I believe, 5th.
Whoa!
Siefker and Mathis.
I'm not sure who that was that got off in the grass on the right-hand side, but nearly went around, it looked like.
So much to watch between 2 classes here.
That
with
was
37 drivers.
That was Steve Roman, I believe, that nearly took a trip around, but definitely took a trip through the green stuff.
Roman, another driver to swap from the GT4 to the GT3 this season.
And you see with the invert, this field in the middle of the pack, especially for the GT3 classes, very bunched up right now.
I mean, there are definitely some drivers who benefited from the invert, but, I mean, there are a lot of good drivers that got bad finishing.
Oh, no! Somebody's in the wall!
That was Roman.
Steve Roman, and we're 4 wide down the start-finish stretch. I think Schlosser took a pretty good shot there as well. He looks to have some damage.
Dave Seats.
Schlosser and Roman make more contact through the first turn.
Dave Seats and Jordan Probst side by side for the GT4 lead. And Probst takes it. Probst to the lead, but not by much. Seats right on the back bumper here.
And you mentioned it, Tommy. Probst with the problem in the dash race. Was able to kind of flip himself towards the front of the field here for the invert, and that might spell disaster for the rest of the GT4 class.
Seats fighting back into the bus stop, but will roll out of it and give Probst the top spot overall. I mean, Nate Morris from 3rd in the GT4 has just spun into the bus stop, and he has lost a ton of positions. Nearly down to the bottom of the running order here. But other drivers that have benefited from the invert, Brian Deese, no slouch, multi-time podium finisher last season. And he is right here with Matt Short, although Short did just gap him by quite a bit. He's fallen back to J.J. Wang and Nate Siefker. Again, no slouches.
Side by side, coming out of the boot, Jeff Mathis and Jeff Oakes. The battle of the 2 Jeffs with different spellings going at it right now. Which one will reign supreme? Right now, it's Jeff with a J.
I'll tell you this much right now. Jeff Oakes is kind of a guy that flew under the radar last season, but he has actually done really nice work here tonight. Good on Jeff Oakes here. He's in the top 5 right now without the invert. He's had top 10 pace all night.
I mean, the middle of the pack for this GT3 class is just an absolute hornet's nest right now. Steve Vroman, we saw Vroman get into a couple of different incidents. It looked like one pretty big one, and then just a couple of other scraps with some drivers, and he has down pit road. Might have to use his fast repair early here.
The spin for Nate Morris propels Ryan Dye up to 3rd in the GT4s. Rene Garcia just made a pass around Corey Rutherford to get up to 4th.
Dave Seats is all over the back of Jordan Probst, by the way.
Yes, he is.
This is for that GT4 class lead.
Oh, problem, I think. Maybe not.
I think problem for Corey Rutherford. Corey Rutherford's around out of the bus stop and did not have a safe place to come back on the track, so he is going to lose many positions here.
And I think he had help from Rhett Nichols, which is what I thought had happened, but I thought I didn't see it, so I don't know. Sim playing tricks on me tonight. Regardless, unfortunately, Corey Rutherford off to a rough start after being in the top 5 there.
And there's the replay of the incident with Rutherford. Yeah, definitely got somebody into the back of him. Looked like he had a little hiccup under the entry of the bus stop and had a bit of a problem.
Nate Stiefker, about half a lap ago, made a pass to move himself onto the podium. That moves J.J. Wang back to 4th. Brian Deese yo-yoing a bit with Matt Short, but he has got a mirror full of Nate Stiefker right now.
And there's Rhett Nichols getting through Ryan Dye for 4th there in the GT4 class.
Probst just put some distance back to Dave's seats. About half a second. Isn't much, but it's enough.
And here's that battle that Tommy was talking about between Stiefker and Deese.
Yeah, Stiefker pulled up in a hurry.
And shout out to Matt Short for some really good opening laps here, by the way.
Well, Short is dropping back a bit. Either that or Deese picked up the pace with Nate Stiefker behind him. But Short does look pretty clean up front thus far.
Stiefker tends to push you to your limits.
Yes, he does. Stiefker, multi-time winner with the Daredevil Series, our other rotating Wednesday night series. This is his first outing with the ASRL Sports Car Championship. JJ Wang closing back in on this group as well. Dave Seats again closing back in on Jordan Probst. We'll keep an eye on that as you're watching the battle for the GT3 podium positions.
Another driver from that you might be familiar with from Thursday nights is Johnny Hamby. Just made a pass on Rick Thompson about a half a lap ago for 8th in the GT4 class. Stiefker all over the back of Deese right now. Brody Gunter working his way through the field. Is right on the tail of Jarrell Williams as well, but has a lot of company. There's Williams, Gunter, has James Lehman, Kevin Bonomi, Mike Pepper, Kevin Burrows, Johnny Alford. All of these drivers are together.
Two car lengths for the GT4 lead right now. Probst in Seats. Rene Garcia having to defend Rhett Nichols here for 3rd in that class as well, up through the S section.
Oh, looked like maybe some contact through the bus stop entry there. I'm not sure if there was, but it was close. Both drivers do a great job, though. But Rhett Nichols has taken that 3rd spot.
So Nichols on to the podium with a bit of argy-bargy. Probst still fending off Seats.
Sorry. There is a problem. Stiefker's gone around.
Stiefker. That's Nate Stiefker. He is now dropped down to 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Holy cow. Actually, just 10th. But still.
And that's 11, James Lehman, that did just get around. So Nate Stiefker drops out of the top 10. And, I mean, that's a product of all. We talked about how that top 10 had all been nose to tail there in the GT3 class for a long time. And that's just a freight train that ran through on Stiefker after the issue.
Well, Deese has now cut it to half a second up to Matt Short. Kevin Bonomi is pitting. The invert was not too kind to Bonomi. Maybe just trying to get off sequence here to make something happen.
They're side by side. This is Matt Schlosser and Jeff Mathis. Mathis able to hang on for right now. That's also Brody Gunter right behind Schlosser, the winner of the sprint race, making his way through the field. 10 minutes in, trying to look for 6th place right now.
I mean, this is 5th through 9th.
Oh,
No, here with slower traffic ahead.
That was close. Gunter almost piled into the back of the traffic.
Jeff Oakes up to 4th and closing in on J.J. Wang here. Less than a second to move himself up onto the podium. And again, Jordan Probst and Dave Seats just a couple of car lengths away from one another, with Probst still maintaining the top spot.
Here's on screen J.J. Wang and Jeff Oakes. Oakes definitely able to run faster lap times, all things equal, it looks like, than J.J. Wang, but Wang very good at playing defense. And behind them, Mathis continues to lead this group of cars. Mathis sits in 5th, so he's in a top 5 position, but Matt Schlosser, Brody Gunter, Jarrell Williams, Joshua Higgy, all right here.
For the first time in about 3 or 4 laps, Matt Short's lead is back up over a second to Brian Deese. Deese has 2.5 seconds back to J.J. Wang in 3rd.
And Hunter Engrave has gotten around Rene Garcia for 4th in the GT4 class, so Engrave finished 2nd in the sprint race, looking to move up the leaderboard. Has about 1.8 seconds to get up to Rhett Nichols in 3rd.
It should mention as well, Jonathan Webb is the last runner on the lead lap here in the GT4 class after taking the win. So, that is not quite the follow-up he was looking for.
I have a request in the chat to see Cole Maxwell.
Ha! Lay it on the folks if they're ready.
Here it is. Here's that Clemson Tigers white and orange #1 machine. Oh, and there's somebody in the wall there.
Dan Miglin.
Oh, and there's a problem in the GT3 class. Jeff Mathis takes a trip into the inside barrier here in the boot section of the racetrack.
Oh, man.
We saw that battle getting really heated. And I'm sure there was probably contact.
Yeah, Mathis had help on that one for sure. Oh, Brody Gunter, I think, was the one that got into him, and Gunter has a meatball.
Wow, so Gunter going to have to come in and clear. Luckily for Gunter, though, we are near the halfway point in the race, so really coming and making your pit stop right now isn't detrimental, but certainly probably not what he was looking for.
He had a phantom meatball flag. I can't remember where, but oh, he just drove past his pit stall. Oh, that is going to kill him. Had to drive backwards up pit road there.
Well, he is his own prophet.
Unfortunately,
he basically told us that this was going to happen, and sure enough, it has.
He had done pretty nicely up to that point, though. The contact with the meatball flag and then driving well past his pit stop. That certainly throws a wrench in things. Not out of it, but certainly, I would guess, out of contention for the win here.
Kevin Burrows has gotten around Jeff Mathis, who obviously has damage. Mike Pepper going to be the next one to try and make a move.
James Lehman has picked up a black flag. He is down pit road to serve that.
Goodness. Whatever could happen tonight pretty much has happened.
Yeah.
While we get a second, here is the incident for Nate Siefker earlier that dropped him from third or fourth pretty much all the way back, and it looked like he was having some problems, people in front of him with maybe connection issues, and he kind of pulled right up on some. I don't know if that's what it looked like from his point of view, but here on my screen, somebody just kind of appeared in front of him into that final corner. Don't know if there was contact, net code, not really sure. Maybe just got in there too hot. But nonetheless, has an incident. Dropped him out of the top 10. And going to look for Jeff Mathis's incident here. I believe this is it. And it sure enough is. Yep, there's the contact from Gunter. This is through the toe of the boot. And Gunter just able to roll that corner a little bit faster than Mathis. Mathis may have broken loose there for a moment. Gunter gets into the back of him. So Matt Short still leading it. Brian Deese in second, and Jeff Oakes still has not been able to get around J.J. Wang for third.
Since that Jeff Mathis incident, the lead has doubled for Matt Short. He is doing a nice job pulling away. Jeff Oakes trying to give J.J. Wang all he can handle here. Lead is still tight for the GT4s, but nothing changing as of now. Dave Seats still hanging 3 to 5 tenths of a second behind Jordan Probst for the top spot.
Nothing for the lead, but Hunter Engrave, a huge run out of the final corner. And then down into turn one, Engrave has passed Rhett Nichols to get to a podium position there in the GT4 class. And here comes James Lehman through. Lehman obviously had the penalty to serve there in the GT3 class, trying to work his way back through some traffic.
Not out of the question here that with pit stop still ahead, that Hunter Engrave can crawl up into the conversation for the win here. He's just outside of 3 seconds behind. There's some barrier bashing. Not sure if that's real or not. It's hard to tell when you have this many cars in a race on a track that's this big. The sim can kind of play tricks on you sometimes.
Out of the S's, Joshua Heggie and Matt Schlosser were nose to tail with Cole Maxwell right underneath of them. The two of them nearly made some significant contact. But Heggie is going to get around Schlosser, and now Siefker is looking to get around Schlosser as well. So Schlosser starting to struggle a bit here.
Man, Siefker's got great pace. After the spin, fell all the way down to 11th, and that is a pass to get up to 6th, I believe.
And
great work.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen from some of the top drivers, I mean, Jeff Oakes has been right behind J.J. Wang for a lot of laps now and has not been able to make the pass. So for Siefker to be able to make the passes, that is huge. That tells you just how comfortable Siefker is here. Dave C.
Hunter Engrave is pitting from third. And yes, Seats again closing right back up. This seems to be the bubble. Can he pop the bubble and actually make a move here for the lead? We've yet to see one. This is looking as good of a time as any.
He's tried to take this run into the bus stop before getting to the outside, but just really hasn't been able to get right up alongside. May go for it here. No, has to give way to Probst again, but that is definitely the spot that Dave Seats has been looking at all night here to try and make that pass.
It puts Probst in a tough position there. Even though he has the preferred line into the corner, you got to worry about the contact. Probst with a huge slowdown, and Seats barrels right into the back of him. And Seats definitely going to lose out on that one big time. He is back nearly into the clutches of Rhett Nichols.
Wow, that was a really awkward incident.
Yes, it was.
Probst just slows down way more than Seats thought he was going to. Either that or Seats got in a little too hot. It was hard to tell. Either way, significant contact between the two.
Should point out as well, your leader, Matt Short, pit last time around. Brian Deese is the leader right now. So if we saw the lead change, that all happened while that battle was taking place. So Deese the leader, scheduled pit stop for Matt Short from the top spot.
Foster, Alford, Drell Williams making their way through some traffic here. Lots of traffic right here. In the, I don't know, what is this, the tongue of the boot? I don't know.
We've tried to pull out the anatomy of the boot multiple times here, and there is no official anatomy, by the way, but we're making it up as we go. Here comes, I believe, J.J. Wang down pit road from second.
Yeah, and Johnny Hamby is right there in front of him. Jordan Probst from the lead in the GT4 class down pit road as well, so Dave Seats stays out. Seats going to lead this lap in the GT4 class.
And you know what? Brody Gunter had a fast repair, but I don't think he checked it before his pit stop, so he is pretty much out of this race. I think it just got cleared.
Wow. And we see Gunter scored in 36th place overall.
Yeah, that's out of 37. That's, well, that's not the way you want to start the season, even though he did get the win. A win in a last place, essentially, is not the great average that you're looking for out of Watkins Glen.
Here's Johnny Alford to the inside of Schlosser. That's to get the 5th at the moment. Of course, the top 10 have not come down pit road yet, so still needing to make pit stops here for Alford and Schlosser.
Heard a quick whip of the tires there.
Matt
it
Short
might have been
has had
Matt
a problem.
Short, yeah.
Matt Short had to toe to the pits.
Yeah, Matt Short was looking to cycle out to the lead. What has happened? Oh, he crashed hard in the bus stop.
I'm not sure he had his fast repair checked either. It looks like he is sitting in pit road right now.
Well, he had just towed just moments ago from the other side of the track. It's going to be a couple minutes still. I mean, Short is out of the race, no doubt about it. He is just disconnected from the session.
Wow, and look. There it is. That was a great camera angle right there. Of course, I'm not going to get it back, unfortunately. Coming through the bus stop. Just catch it. Oh, my goodness. All 4 tires off the ground. Catches air completely over the turtle and just loses traction of the car completely when it comes back down onto the pavement. Oh, my. That is a massive shot. That is so unfortunate. Short was having such a good race. Really making do with what he got there with the invert.
That is definitely disappointing. But still a great run nonetheless for Matt Short up to that point. This race may have just fallen in the lap of Brian Deese. We'll have to see. He is in the lead of those who have pit thus far. Jeff Oakes hopped J.J. Wang on that pit cycle.
Nate Siefker trying to work around Rene Garcia. Garcia in 3rd place in the GT4 class. Those two almost made contact. Oh boy, here's Matt Short in the chat.
Yeah. Rhett Nichols from 2nd in the GT4s will be pitting this time. He's made a pretty good clip here, catching up to Dave Seats. But we'll give that up and try and take the undercut here on the GT4 leader. Jarrell Williams, Johnny Alford also in, Nate Siefker, Josh Heggie, Mike Pepper in as well. So a lot of the GT3 frontrunners here are in, the top 5 exactly. Dave Payton, I think, the only one that is yet to come down pit road, and he still will have time to do that. And he is going to do that. So this should give control of the race back to Brian Deese, but we'll see where everybody's going to cycle out. Nate Siefker's been awfully quick here. He may be looking to get out to the top spot.
Well, here comes Deese down the start-finish stretch right now, and you see those drivers just making their way down pit road. Brian Deese does cycle out to the lead.
Jeff Oakes is out in second. Joshua Higgy then in third. Kevin Bonomi, who I'm not sure is pitted yet. He was pretty deep in the pack. Regardless, he's in fourth right now. J.J. Wang then in fifth.
Bonomi has been down pit road, but it was on lap 5, so I think that'll be a little close on fuel. May have to go into a little bit of a save mode here.
Well, unfortunately, he does not have that big of a gap back to everybody that just pit. So still waiting pit stop, I do believe, for Dave Seats to see where he will cycle out in comparison to Jordan Probst. Probst is 6 seconds behind Rhett Nichols, though. So Nichols looking to cycle out to the lead here.
Wow, that's crazy. Probst may have had a problem on the pit stop, I'm not sure. Or ran into maybe some traffic afterwards. There's Rhett Nichols. Here is Jordan Probst.
Yeah, no matter what happened to Jordan Probst, it's undeniable that Rhett Nichols had been the fastest GT4 on the track here, as Dave Seats going to pit this time. And Rene Garcia will follow him in as well. Yeah, Rhett Nichols has been the fastest GT4 driver on the track since Probst came into pit. There's no question about it. So he did his part.
And
Alex Howland is going to pit here as well. And Rick Thompson. So that's the top 4 runners in the GT4s. I think those are your final holdouts as well. So we will see.
Battle for third in the GT3 class. This is actually Bonomi looking to make a pass on Joshua Heggie. So,
and
Bonomi,
just in front of these two, Jeff Oakes is making the moves here on Brian Deese.
Oh no! Bonomi, he gets turned.
JJ Wang just missed it. Wow.
Heggie with the contact to the back of Kevin Bonomi. Wow, Bonomi had a hell of a rebound race going on right there. I'm not sure. JJ Wang may have some damage. Siefker's gotten through very easily on JJ Wang. It was close. I couldn't tell if he hit him or not, but
he did as good of a job as he could there. That pointed nose was the difference maker for Heggie. Trying to make that crossover, just barely clipped the back of Bonomi there, and Bonomi's still trying to get it pointed in the right direction here. On the pit cycle there for the GT4s, Dave Seats is 2 seconds ahead of Rhett Nichols. Jordan Probst has lost a spot to Rene Garcia as well. It sounds like Probst did have a problem. He just made some comments about contact over the radio. A lot to sort through there and just in that half a lap. Holy cow. Meanwhile, Deese still leading. Oakes in second. Heggie in third. Siefker, Wang the top 5 now. But Deese only leading Jeff Oakes here by about 0.6 of a second.
Here's an incident for Kevin Bonomi. We saw it live, but we'll take another look. Tommy, you mentioned Heggie kind of looking for a little bit of a crossover there. Makes contact with the right rear of Bonomi. And Wang did make a little bit of contact with Bonomi. Not super significant, but when you're at that speed, it's hard to tell the effect that it's going to have on the car.
Bonomi just now making it back to pit road. It took him forever to get off of that wall there. I mean, again, he was able to, but just a steady stream of traffic prevented it from happening.
Well, what was a lead for Jordan Probst? Looks like he may go back to fifth, or at least is in jeopardy of going back to fifth. Hunter Engrave right on the heels of the 65.
Dave Seats' lead is shrinking back to Rhett Nichols, who is undeniably faster than the leader. But is Seats saving? That's the question. They both have a comfortable gap back to Rene Garcia in third, as Engrave is through, I believe, on Probst for that fourth position. Meanwhile, top four pretty much nose to tail here for the overall lead. Deese, Oaks, Hagee, and Siefker.
And there's a move from J.J. Wang down to the inside. That's to get through traffic. That's Indica Scarlet.
Oaks is going to have a look here into the bus stop. He is hounding Deese here. They're not even through the S's. He'll get a big run here with the wind at his back. He's going to try and stick it on the inside. But backs out.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Scary
and now
moments there.
Under fire from Hagee for third, and Siefker as well. Nearly three wide there into the carousel.
Oh, looked like maybe some contact with Siefker. That was close.
That's going to have to get sorted. They got slower traffic ahead. They got to funnel into the boot through. Deese is loving this. He's pulled away by 0.7 of a second already. His second, third, and fourth. Nose to tail, bumper to bumper traffic here.
Siefker is all out right now, not giving any room to anybody on the racetrack.
Siefker, a man on a mission after a solo spin earlier. He is back on his horse.
Little bit of a bump into that right-hand turn.
Inside of 10 minutes to go here, and the intensity is as high as it's been all day. Jeff Oaks hanging on to second for now. Siefker has made a spot up in third. And Brian Deese of second and a half ahead now after just being under fire half a lap ago.
Oaks, Siefker, and Hagee just put on one hell of a show right there. I don't know how they didn't crash.
It's worth the price of admission here on Turn 200. We're so happy to have you back here with the ASRL Sports Car Championship season opener. This is the feature race of the night. And it's been a doozy thus far. Lots of twists and turns here.
Yeah, and Kevin Burrows just had a look to the inside of J.J. Wang there in the first turn as well, but was not able to make it happen. So all over the top five, there are battles, very heated battles at that, all throughout the top five here.
Dave Seats has extended his gap over Rhett Nichols this lap.
Siefker through the bus stop.
As here's Siefker for second. And he takes it. Siefker to P2. Oaks and Hagee now side by side. It's going to be a two-spot swing for Jeff Oaks as he's bounced back to fourth. But Siefker now in second, and that is not what Brian Deese wants to see. Siefker, the fastest driver on the track right now.
Only 6.5 minutes left, but Siefker looks like a man on a mission.
Burrows around the outside into the toe of the boots. Looking to take the spot away from J.J. Wang. That's to move up to P6.
If Siefker can pull this one off, this will be one of the best late race drives I can remember in any of the ASRL races.
I mean, yeah, he dropped all the way to 11th. Granted, a couple things have swung his way with a couple of competitors bowing out. But regardless, this has been an electric drive from Siefker.
Yeah, he's in jeopardy of Hagee going around. Wow, Hagee just going to give him a bump trap down the start-finish.
But crucially, they made up 0.3 of a second on the race leader that time. And that is going to be enough if they can keep that pace up.
By the way, Dave Seats still in the lead here. In the GT4 class, Rhett Nichols over a second and a half behind.
Yeah, Nichols had a problem on the last lap, gave up nearly 3 seconds, but has continued to cut back into the gap.
And Hunter Engrave in third is well behind, about 8 seconds behind the leader in that class.
Matt Schlosser, I believe, has just eclipsed the incident limit, or rather the penalty, the drive-through penalty incident limit. So he'll have to come serve a black flag, and he's inside the top 10.
Siefker, Heggie, and Jeff Oakes are now nearly within a second of Brian Deese, so that lead has come down significantly in the last lap.
And they're not shaking one another either. Remember, Deese pit a lot earlier than these three. Actually, not earlier than Jeff Oakes. They were on the same strategy. Siefker and Heggie with the fresher stuff here. Deese, a veteran of this series. Maybe trying to save as much as he can here with 4 minutes left to go in this race.
I can tell you he's not saving. That's
Nate Siefker. I wouldn't think so. This is going to be a fight.
Heggie trying to help Siefker out so they can get to the back of Deese again. Made up about a tenth there down the front stretch. We'll check in there with Dave Seats, the leader of GT4 class. Starting to make up some more time on Rhett Nichols. Nichols now almost 2.5 seconds back.
Yeah, Nichols had some difficulty getting through some traffic there, and it cost him quite a bit of time.
Well, they're here, Tommy. Siefker
yes, they are.
To the back of Deese.
A 4-car scrap for the feature win here with just about 2 laps to go here at the season opener of Watkins Glen, the SRL Sports Car Championship. It's all about to happen. Deese is off the pace. Here goes Siefker. Heggie going to follow right through. Siefker plugs the hole.
Oh!
Nate Siefker to the point. A remarkable comeback, but it's not over yet. Deese and Heggie side by side behind him for second. Deese will slot back in the line.
And Heggie really needed to get that spot and push Deese back to third or maybe even fourth. But Deese now fighting with Heggie, letting Siefker get a little bit of a lead here.
This is Johnny Alford in fourth. Not sure what happened to Jeff Oakes, but he's all the way back in the 8th position now. Alford is in the mix, though.
What has happened today?
No idea. Siefker with the lead, and he is trying to pull away. Brian Deese has opened a parachute and is costing Heggie and Alford time. Big time. We should have 2 laps to go. It's going to be close. Not as close as that, though. A bump draft. Deese a bit loose here. Might open the door for Heggie to swing around the outside of the carousel.
Yeah. But
did Heggie go too
really
far?
Wide. Yeah, he's really wide there. He might give up the position to Alford.
Fighting tooth and nail all the while. Nate Siefker has drove it away. 1.4 seconds.
Heggie's able to hang on, but lost a lot of time there.
2.5 second lead for Dave Seats over Rhett Nichols. That's not quite short up yet, but it's awfully close at this point.
A battle for 5th as well, by the way. Mike Pepper trying to get around J.J. Wang for 5th.
Slower traffic hanging to the outside of the exit of the boot section. Deese keeping Siefker now within a second, and this will be the white flag lap here. Does Deese have anything left in the tank? Does Siefker have enough to just pull away, make it a non-issue? 1 lap to go here in the first feature of the season.
Looks like Higgy might get in this fight for second, and as long as Siefker can keep it clean, he may have this thing.
Higgy will try to go for a look here into the bus stop. Oh, pulls in right behind Deese. A little bit of contact there as well.
Gonna go wide again. Much better run this time into the boot. And takes a spot.
Hagee to P2. Deese will try and hang on to the podium here with Johnny Alford right behind him. Brad Nichols has cut the gap, but it's just over a second. We'll keep watch of that as through the final few turns, Nate Siefker looking to put it away.
Siefker with the slower car in front. We'll see what happens here. Maybe a non-issue.
Nate Siefker had a solo spin, dropped all the way from 4th to 11th, and rallies back through the field to win his first career ASRL Sports Car Championship race. Nate Siefker takes the Glen. Jason Hagee on the podium. And for the GT4 win, all of a sudden, they are right here together. It was a 2.5-second lead, just 2 laps ago, and now we've got a battle for the win on our hands. Seats on defense against Rhett Nichols. Nichols caught all the bad breaks here until the last couple of laps, and now he is caught right back up. We've yet to see a pass outright for the GT4 lead tonight. Is this the opportunity? Nichols has not been afraid to throw elbows here.
Oh, he's going to look to the inside.
Seats opens the door! Closes the door! That was Seats moving down on Rhett Nichols, but Nichols to the lead. And on the last lap pass, Rhett Nichols through the final turn is going to take his first career ASRL Sports Car Championship feature win here in the GT4 class.
Wow.
Wow is right. Holy cow, what a conclusion to this one. I mean,
if that doesn't get you excited for the rest of the ASRL season, I don't know what does.
Bonkers. Bonkers night of racing here. Holy cow.
Here's the corn kid himself. Siefker getting a little bit of love there from the competitors. Taking a nice slow trip around the racetrack. Won't get a celebration from Rhett Nichols already off the racetrack, but here is Nate Siefker.
Man, oh man. I believe third channel victory here for Nate Siefker on turn 200. Rest coming in our Daredevil Series outing. Man, he's had some pretty bad luck of late. It seems like we've especially jinxed him. Maybe that was jinx broken, because that was one of the more impressive drives we've ever seen here on the channel. Extenuating circumstances of the other drivers in the top 10 besides that. I mean, that was an incredible drive for Seifker tonight.
Yeah, incredibly impressive, and really had to be aggressive to get there. I mean, probably the most aggressive driving we saw all night came from Seifker, because he knew he couldn't waste any time, and it paid off.
Well, I'd say some aggressive driving there as well from Rhett Nichols. Did not see all of the contacts that he made here, but maybe while we have an opportunity, let's look at the final couple of corners, if we can, there, of that battle with Dave Seats. I think what you'll see, obviously Seats opened the door there, maybe not intentionally, but a bit of crowding there, and Seats is the one that gets the short end of the stick on that one.
Yeah, here it is. This is pretty good angle. Nichols, I mean, he had gotten into a position to at least try and make a dive. Here it is from the previous corner. Had a big run. Seats went to the outside. Nichols thought he was going to have her onto the inside. Seats was trying to round the corner and kind of came down on Nichols a little bit. Nichols all the way pretty much underneath of the turtle there. So, yeah, that's just it's just close, hard racing, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's hard to pin that on anybody. That's going for the win there in the final couple of corners on the last lap. It does feel bad for Dave Seats. He at least is going to hang on for second out of this deal. But not sure how much of a consolation that is after leading so much of the back half of this event.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's hard to feel good about that, but, I mean, walking out of here with such a chaotic race with the second place is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, for sure. We'll go ahead and get to your full finishing rundown here. Hopefully we'll talk to the top two finishers of each race, but not sure that's going to happen. I don't see Dave Seats anywhere. Regardless, I do see Josh Heggie, so we'll try and get a word with him in. He finishes second to Nate Seifker. Johnny Alford, the thumbnail driver, the one who named it the GT Clash at the Glen, is going to round out the podium. Brian Deese will finish in P4, JJ Wang in 5th, Mike Pepper in 6th, 7th place for Jarrell Williams, Jeff Mathis in 8th. Boy, man, Jeff Oaks had a great night, all things considered, but man, that was a tough deal there, dropping down to 9th in the closing laps. Kevin Burrows will round out the top 10. 11th place for Matt Schlosser, 12th for Joshua Rutherford, 13th for Steve Roman, 14th James Lehman, 15th Andy Poliski, in class 16th for Dave Payton, 17th for Brody Gunter, who I think did get back out on track there, but boy, that was a disastrous feature race for the dash race winner. Kevin Minomi as well was running very well, got taken out there. He finishes next in line in that short. Maybe the most disappointing of all, dominated this race, and will finish all the way down at the bottom of the class tonight. To the GT4 results we go. It is Rhett Nichols in first, Dave Seats in second, Hunter Engrave in third, Rene Garcia, Jordan Probst, another dominator. He will finish down in P5, 6th for Johnny Hamby, 7th for Rick Thompson, 8th for Alex Howland. Kenny Stepp and Ryan Dye will round out the top 10 here in his first go-around. Jonathan Webb in P11 for the dash winner. That's not the outing he was looking for, I'm sure. 12th for Cole Maxwell, 13th for Indica Scarlett, 14th for Corey Rutherford, 15th for Nate Morris, 16th Daryl Klotz, 17th for Fred Thompson, and I believe at DNS. Actually, no, Dan Miglin, the story there, he was up against the guardrail for quite some time. His game had tapped out on him, so he was just kind of chilling there for a while until he could get back in, and then just ended up disconnecting from the session. So with all that said, it's time for, I guess, just driver winner interviews. We'll at least talk to the driver that that I got to talk to off air before the night started. Rhett Nichols is in victory lane here for the GT4s. Congrats on the win there.
Thank you very much. It was a hard-fought win.
I was going to say, watching the times there after the pit stops, it was inside of a second. It was outside at 2.5 seconds. Even just a couple of laps to go, it was still over 2 seconds, and that gap closed quick.
Yeah, traffic played a huge part after the pit stops. I know when I came out, there was a lot of GT3 traffic and a couple of lap GT4s we had to contend with, so it was an ebb and flow there at the end, and with 2 laps to go, I was just like, well, we got a 5-second gap out back. Let's just give it everything and see what we can make up here in the last couple laps.
Matt, what do you got for your GT4 winner?
Yeah, congrats on the race win. Yeah, I mean, had to push, incredibly hard to get to the leader there. And then, of course, it looked like you had a little bit of an opening there on the inside, and Dave may have come down a little bit, made some contact there with you. Walk me through that pass for the lead.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt I was there. I knew the inside was going to be strong. There's no banking on the outside. So I was going to go to the inside if he left it open, and he left it open. I put my nose in there, and then we came together. I'd have to see a replay before I say anything about it.
Well, regardless of the contact there, it was a great drive to close that gap up in the last couple of laps. And really a nice race all night long for you. It seemed like you were really fast in the middle portion of that race as well to close in before your pit stops. So all around, great job here tonight. Congrats on the first win here with ASRL. Anybody you want to shout out or say hi to?
I got to thank Team Watson Racing and JJ. I wouldn't be here if he didn't accidentally ask me to join yesterday. I got to thank we couldn't put a normal Mercedes engine. This is a high-speed track, so we went back and took one of the Penske Ilmore engines from the 70s and put it into this car, and she purred.
There you go. Well, congrats on the win. Go party hard. Hopefully we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you very much.
All right, we are going to... Oh, did he go away? I think he went away. That's too bad. We were going to talk to Josh Hagee. Oh, no, he's there. All right, we'll pull him in real quick. Josh Hagee did finish second, right? Yeah, okay. I'm not tripping. Okay, cool.
We're not tripping.
Going to be a hot swap to bring Josh Hagee into booth 200 here. He's going to finish runner-up in the GT3 feature. Congrats on the result here tonight.
Yeah, thanks. It was hard-earned for sure. I felt like I was fighting traffic, and there's a lot of fast new guys that are pretty quick in here, too. In fact, I think he won that second heat.
I was going to say, you. It seemed like you were in the thick of all the battling all night, like 2nd through 7th at one point was all nose to tail. It really did not get much easier throughout the night as well. But yeah, like you said, hard-fought second place here.
I was trying to, before the bus stop on that straightaway, I would be more apt to push a car than to go for the pass just because I had a chance to run up front and didn't want to ruin it. And I think I spun a Porsche on accident. It was definitely no malicious intent, but I think it was I forget which car it was. But yeah.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, congrats on the P2. A lot of times in these races, and you may have kind of alluded to the answer with, the crop of talent that is in the field right now, but I feel like normally we see the invert, and we see a lot of the faster guys just kind of blitz right through the field in the first, 5 to 10 laps or so. But today was a little bit different. I mean, everybody was really able to hold their positions well. Was that a product of just difficult to pass here at Watkins Glen, or was it the talent on the racetrack? I mean, what kind of played into everybody being really bunched together there?
Yeah, I found it hard for an outright pass. You always wait for a mistake is always the smartest move. But yeah, I noticed the one car probably got caught up in something. He's usually running up front. But yeah, an all-out pass, it was pretty tough for me here, and this isn't my strongest track either, but yeah, just wait for a mistake is your best bet.
Well, yeah, 2 times winner here last season. You're off to a strong start with a feature runner-up at Watkins Glen. Congrats to you on that. Anybody you want to shout out or say hi to?
Not really, not this time. First race of the season. I'll get that sorted out at some point.
Well, you got a nice attaboy from Nick Batista in the chat, and I see that he just hopped in the Discord as well. So he's showering you with praises here, and so are we. It's great to get you back up here in the booth, and go party hard. We'll talk to you again, hopefully as a race winner next week.
Shout out to Nick, and thank you guys.
And we won't keep him waiting any longer. Your race winner here in his first night out with ASRL, Nate Siefker, is back in booth 200 as a race winner, and damn, it feels good.
Oh, that feels awesome. That was awesome to do that. That was probably the last 10 laps there, probably the funnest stretch of racing I've had in a long time. Just plugging away, trying to close the gap. I had those like 4 or 5 in front of me there, and then I, got by JJ, got by Brian, got by everyone there, and I had to work for it. I'll say that. It was no easy passes there. But that was a blast.
I was gonna say we've seen you spin from time to time, but I don't know if I've ever seen you go completely, fully seeing red like you did tonight. I mean, that was, to steal what Matt just said, that was a blitz back up through the field there in crunch time. Absolutely, you delivered here tonight. That was incredible to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I was running third there in that first bit behind Brian, and I don't know if Brian just overslowed for T11. But I caught the back of him a little bit, and that's what caused the spin. Was just tapping his rear end, and then I got stuck behind, 5 cars there behind the Jeff train. It seemed like, and then everyone was pitting and got off sequence. We were able to go a little bit, got by some people, and then that last stint was just about cutting it down. I think I was 4 seconds was the gap to Brian there when I came out, so I had to close it, of course, and I knew it was gonna be a little difficult considering the GT3s were pretty tight together. But I just kept going. Thanks to Jeff and JJ for the excellent strategy call. Without that strategy call, I wouldn't have been where I was. So they did a great job with the strategy there. Just plugged away. Got the result. I can't complain about tonight. Nothing about it tonight, other than race 1 getting crashed. That wasn't very fun, but other than that, I think tonight was a success.
Oh, Matt, what do you got for everybody, Nate?
Well, I would say it was a massive success here. Congratulations on the race win. I mean, after the pit stop, when you're working your way, I mean, you are just a man on a mission. I mean, that was some very aggressive but very good driving from you. Do you kind of, I mean, in the middle of it, do you know how good of a run that that you're on and you're like, oh man, this is going to be, awesome? Or are you just, full steam ahead, not really thinking about that at all?
About 10 minutes ago, I said to everybody that was in the Discord, this feels good. Like, I was like, I knew it felt good. And I knew, like, I had that energy at that point where I was like, I'm going to win. Like, that's the energy I had at that point, was like, I'm going to win. I got 3 cars to pass still, but I'm going to win. I had that energy in me. And, the first pass was pretty difficult. The second pass was awesome in the bus stop. That was probably the best pass I've had in a long, long time in any discipline. And then getting by Brian when he made that mistake, I should have had him in the horseshoe. I didn't quite get him there, but I finished the job in not 8. So, yeah, I can't complain. That was awesome. I have 0 complaints about how tonight went. That was awesome.
Yeah, man. Welcome back as a race winner. It's exciting. That was a great run. I know you got people you want to thank and shout out, so we'll leave you to it here.
Thank everyone that was in the Discord tonight, Matt, JJ, Jeff, Rhett finishing the job for us, getting the double win for TWR. Awesome job to him. So yeah, TWR, great job with them. Jeff with the strategy call tonight, probably the deciding factor of winning the night. Thank you guys for being in the booth, and thank the league admins. Very welcoming. My first night here, of course. Seems like a great group of people to race with, for sure. So thank you to them for welcoming me with open arms, allowing me to come here tonight and participate. Really, really grateful to everybody with the admin staff and the racers here.
All right, partner, keep it up. Don't burn down Oskaloosa tonight. But regardless, we'll catch you in the next one.
I'm gonna shower. I'm drenched in sweat, so I don't think I'm gonna be doing that. So,
well, do whatever you do then, and do it well.
Thank you. I'll be washing my body very well then, apparently.
That's your race winner, Nate Siefker, and that's exactly what we expect. I guess I should probably move him to the correct room. There he goes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was looking forward to this. Obviously, ASRL's some of the best sports car racing around, but holy cow, this delivered tenfold tonight. What a race to kick it off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but we tend to have some really great season openers for all of our series, but I mean, this may have been the best one from a pure racing standpoint. I mean, this was just incredible stuff from everybody in the field. So, I mean, just a huge hats off to all the drivers in the field. You really put on a show for us, and you earned your keep here tonight.
Absolutely. We had a lot of people hanging out with us here tonight as well.
We certainly did. Love to see everybody in the chat. Thank you to everybody that sends the links out, wants everybody to watch. And thanks to everybody for supporting us and the drivers in the series. Of course, Goodleaf always with us here. Matt Short unfortunately was in the chat earlier than he wanted to be. Nick Batista. Who else was here? Cole Maxwell was here a little bit earlier, or Josh Maxwell, I should say. ICR. Happy birthday, by the way. James Slayman, Don Golden, Eric Breeding, the Banana Man himself, Justice for Chiquita, if you know, you know. Mullet Music Productions, that's Joshua Rutherford, AP Lewis, and Corey Rutherford was in here as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If I missed you, I'm sorry. We'll get you next time. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. And we're going to see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, we will see you tomorrow. I do want to say, though, for any of the Venom drivers that are still watching, I did not eat any bananas during the course of this event, but I should have. And it's on tap, don't worry. But no bananas for me. Justice for Chiquita. Hashtag EB26. Yes, tomorrow night for the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series, we are at Texas. And the racing has been big, but it's going to be bigger because it always is in Texas or something like that. So Texas tomorrow night, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll get your truck racing fixed on a Thursday night taken care of. Sunday afternoon for the Mission Art Challenge Top Split Strength of Field broadcast, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time from Watkins, Glen, the Boot. Just like this here tonight. We'll catch you back here for that. And next week it is Arena Oschersleben for the first time in Turn 200 as ASRL week number 2 rolls in to a track that we've never been to before. So we've got some work to do in the preparation side of things, but very excited to get a new track under our belts here on Turn 200. That is just about all we got for you here tonight. If you liked what you saw here tonight, we got 9 more weeks of racing action with ASRL on Wednesday nights. So be sure to hit subscribe on your way out of the stream. Every little bit helps us in our climb towards 1,000 subscribers. We're hoping to get it by the end of the year, but we're working very hard for it, and we're working for you, you know. So let us know if you appreciate the stream here tonight, and we'll catch you in the next one. That's all we got for you. For everybody with the American Sim Racing League, thank you to Rick Thompson and Corey Rutherford for bringing us back here as well. For everybody that helps put this broadcast on, CJR Graphics, as well as Mullet Music Productions, as well as Eminent Signs and Graphics. Who else am I missing? I think that's everybody. But thank you to all those folks as well. And thank you to the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson here as well. Until we meet again, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long from Watkins Glen International, where Nate Seifer and Rhett Nichols are your feature race winners. And Jonathan Webb wins the GT4 sprint race, as well as Brody Gunter in the GT3s. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.